They're back, baby! Hello and welcome, my dear scale modelers, to my small hobby YouTube channel. My name is Tomo, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tamiya's Little Man Part 2. One of my very successful videos, which I keep going on about, is Tamiya's Little Man. I guess you guys really love Tamiya's stuff, especially the figures. But because in the first video I didn't really go into much detail into the boxes, well, this time around I'm actually opening up basically every single box that I have here. And here I have just a ton of boxes, like a lot of them. Anyway, we're gonna be taking a look at these boxes inside. However, I don't think I will be opening up the bags themselves because that is just gonna take forever, and these boxes have to go back on the shelf on the store, so I don't really want to mess with all that stuff. Because usually when I open the boxes up, then I have to carefully unseal them and then pack them back again because, you know, people. Well, what can I say about Tamiya's Little Man Part 2 video? Well, other than that these are 1/35th scale models and they're all from the manufacturer Tamiya, they're pretty much great, to be honest. I mean, haven't seen anything bad so far. The scale figures that we're going to be taking a look at today are a mix of old and new, but no matter what, they are pretty good. The definition, the molds, the attachment points, the plastic, they're all just Tamiya style goodness. It's really, I haven't really seen or observed anything bad with them. There's absolutely no flash, and if there is a little bit of a seam line here and there, it's really not that bad and can be tackled very simply. Most of these scale model figures can be tackled even by the beginner. They're very simple to put together, not a lot of parts. And if you really want to get into the whole war stuff, you can actually play with them. As for painting and detailing the models, you have a pretty much standard definition of how to paint the uniforms and faces. Although some newer models, newer figures do have a colored manual which will outline what the uniforms should look like, and of course which color combination to use. Tamiya always recommends using their own paints, because they do have paints. However, you can go out there and find like sets of paints, like AK Interactive has like sets of paint for British soldiers, German soldiers, Russian soldiers, you name it, they have it. They usually come in pack of at least 3 or maybe 4, depending of course on the bigger set and what you're trying to achieve. Figures in general are meant to be painted with a brush. You can use airbrush to make a base coat, but after that it's really up to a very fine brush to get all the details right. And it's actually a very good way to practice painting because it forces you to be patient and methodical in the way you're layering the paints if you want to really get that optimal effect of realism. Or if you just want to try something new like painting them pink, well, you can surely do that. Now, the only difference between the bigger boxes and the smaller boxes is that the bigger boxes contains more dudes. Other than that, the technology and the quality is basically the same, depending on what, of course, you're looking for. In general, I find that Tamiya really has a lot more German soldiers as opposed to Allied soldiers. Even Japanese soldiers are not that common in their repertoire of scale models. So other manufacturers such as Mini Art or ICM surely do pick up the slack where Tamiya is kind of lagging behind. Right, so enough of me babbling on. Let us open the boxes, take a look inside, and let's get this show on the road, baby. Behold. This is more of a request video from one of my subscribers who is doing some diorama, and he is asking if I can show some Tamiya stuff. Now, I gotta say that we've been selling these figures quite aggressively, and this, what you see here, is almost everything that we've got. The new stock is coming next month, so I mean, we have doubles of each, but yeah, I couldn't find any more diversity because a lot of them were sold. They were really popular, so I'm really happy about that. However, now I'm left with only a few to show you guys. So We will start with this smaller box because these are the more easier to review because they don't have a lot of stuff in, and they are very interesting. And we will go with the bigger stuff. So let us begin. Here we have a stack of small boxes. Each of them costs, well, depending on the size, but they're around 8 euros. Some are more, some are less. This is a mistake. This is not 18 euros. Sorry. This is yeah, that's a typo. But those are like, they're like 8 euros and a half, like 6. They're cheap. They're not that expensive. Anyway, so let's take a look at them first. Again, this is a typo. This is not 18 euros. I just made a little mistake. Yeah, British paratrooper bicycle set. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's 2 dudes on a bicycle, and then of course we have the Germans, 2 dudes on a bicycle. Yeah, let's take a look inside. So here we have the German counterparts on the bicycles. Let's take a look. Here we have, you know, very nice molds. Again, bicycles molded in one solid piece. You don't have to really glue a lot of stuff in, apart from the pedals. But they're pretty good. Look at that. I mean, like you would expect from Tamiya. It's not crappy. It's very good. Super nice. And then we have the other soldier that you have to assemble. The carnage screw continues. Got a little face here, which is really nice. Look at that. Look at that expression on the face. Really nice. It's really detailed. And of course we have the arms and legs and the another face here. Look at that. Look at that. It's really nice. Okay. Next on the list are these two. So we have the German on the horse and the MPs, military MPs, so US military. And let's see these two. First, the military one. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the military one, military police. We got 2 sprues containing the motorcycle and all the little bits. Take it close, you can see the front fender and the wheel, and then of the tank. We have to actually assemble the motorcycle a fair bit. Not full assembly, because here you can see that you basically have a tank already, so you have to just glue the other part of the tank on the other side. And then they have this shield, windshield reflector. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not taking them out because it's just too fiddly. These bags are like, they can be torn really quickly and you have to take the clips off, but you get the general idea. The point of the video is to give you some idea of the actual kits that you can get, the actual models that are available in Tamiya's arsenal of models. Okay, this is what it looks like on the back, so you can see how you're supposed to paint it. Next will be the 2 Germans and a horse. So here on the back you can see the general idea of what to do with the horse, which way you can paint it. It's pretty cool. Alright, so in the box you get a piece of white plastic, which is really interesting. But I guess it's white because you can paint the horse white, so you don't have a dark horse, so to speak. Because, you know, you have a lighter background, you don't need to use a ton of primer to make it white, and that makes sense. But it also means that it's kind of difficult to take a look at it closer because there's a lot of reflection. But you can see the horse is made of 2 parts and it's pretty well designed. And look at the muscle structure, and yeah, I think this is texture. Oh yeah, I can feel the texture through the, yeah, this is textured. So that's pretty neat. You see the rider with his legs right stretched. It's pretty nice, and the saddle, pretty nice. Where's the horse's head? The horse's head is, oh, look at that. Horse's head with the stirrups and the hair on the back. So yeah, nice piece of plastic. Next on the list are these 2 smaller ones, which are, this is a pretty old one. This is a much newer one. You can see, of course, you can see from the graphics, and even on the back, you can see how well they're like designed. You see how they're supposed to be painted and everything. These are basically just tank crew, so you can stick them out in your tanks if you have them. And these are basically just infantry. It says German infantry. So let's take a look. Yeah, these are older. You can see. I mean, they're older Tamiya dudes. Look at this guy. You don't really have to assemble a whole lot here, and they look kind of cartoonish, to be honest. I mean, the way their faces are made, molded, the way the stance is, they look kind of short and stubby, to be honest. They don't look very real like newer models do. These are like toy soldiers more, you know, the kind of toy soldiers you would be playing as a kid. So really here you don't really have to glue a lot. In fact, you kind of can, if you're like a kid, which I have to kind of be very careful now, you can play with these things. You don't even need to paint them if you're just playing with them, but you don't need to glue a lot. Right, so the military miniatures, Russian tank crew, this is a newer one, and immediately you can, yeah, look at that. It's much better from the start. You have to glue everything together. There's much more detail involved, much more realism into this than the previous. Even the expression, although this one is not that great. This face, well, it is actually. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is good. It's a newer model, newer set of guys and gals. You got the helmets, tank helmets, and the expression. Yeah, look at that. It's really good. It's much more refined. Look at this guy smiling. And all the guys seem to have all their legs apart from this one. Yeah, well, this one is just hanging. Wait, this one is just kind of hanging around. So we got the leaning guy, the inside guy, then the woman, commissar, and then two more crewmen. So pretty cool. Now Tamiya also offers a some livestock. You must know that, you know, animals did exist in World War II, and if you're building a diorama and want to make it more lively, here is a set of animals that can be put on your diorama. Here is the plastic. It's also white because of the figures, or actually the animals. Some animals have a much lighter tone than the others, especially the pig. So you can't really paint the pig black. Well, you could, but it would be really strange. Anyway, we got some chickens, like we said, dogs and roosters and ducks, and this is a donkey. Yeah, this is a donkey. And we got a dead rabbit. Oddly enough, why a dead rabbit? Maybe because it's game, you know, because, you know, hunting and stuff. They sure like to hunt in the past. So yeah, white plastic, some animals, cool stuff. Look at the little chicks. Look at the little chickies. And the detail is pretty cool. Dookie dookie. Now we have come to the bigger boxes, which contains more dudes. Now these bigger boxes usually go anywhere from 10 euros to around 18 to maybe 20, depending on, of course, how many dudes are inside and how old the model kit in question is. So the first thing that we want to take a look at is this German miniatures, basic tank guys that are, one of them are loading ammo and the other ones are just kind of hanging around and planning their attack. Oddly enough, there is a lot more German soldiers than the rest, like the Allied soldiers. They're not that popular. I mean, we have some Americans and Japanese and French and British as well, but mainly we have Germans. So, okay, let's dig in. All right, so the tank crew. You get this little nice chart, a color chart to actually tell you exactly how to paint uniforms, because that's nice. Otherwise, in the other manuals, there's like black and white manual, but you usually get this one, like, you know, black and white. And then, of course, the color correspondence. And then we got two sprues here, which contain, of course, the carnage, the legs, the feet, the arms, the heads. And it's nice Tamiya plastic again all around. I don't see really a lot of flash. Actually, I don't see any flash at all. And the expression on the faces and detail on the faces is pretty good. I mean, I gotta make it up to them. It's pretty good. Even from this little plastic bag, you can see it pretty clearly, and you can see like the trouser and the creases. I mean, these are really quality figures. And we have another sprue which again contains more soldiers, more tankers, tank dudes. You can see the little arm and the fist and the little fingers. So it's pretty nice. Look at that. Really good. So here we have the guys that are loading the tank with shells. A little pussycat. I think that's a pussycat. Oh, look at that! There's a little pussycat. Look at that! There's a little pussycat. How nice! And you get double of each, which is nice. So you got two sets of dudes for the price of one, which is nice. So you got some crates with texture. Yeah, this is real texture, by the way. You can still feel it through the yeah. You can still feel it. So this is nice and textured wooden crates for ammo. You can assemble it. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. And as far as the figures go, there's not a lot of gluing here with the figures, but you still have some, like the open fingers, you know, taking the shell in the hand. Look at that. You really feel, you can kind of feel the weight of the shell, and these are the shells. So great. All right, next on the line are the two military miniatures, which basically involve Germans again. So we got the German machine gun crew and the German soldiers at field briefing, which is again very self-explanatory. You get some dudes in the field briefing and a little heat stove thing so they can warm up. I'm guessing this is like the Russian front, or maybe a Russian campaign anyway. And this is more of a summer, spring campaign, since they're more casually dressed. And here is the actual paint scheme that you can see on the backs. This is newer, this is older, I believe. And you get the camouflage pattern and all that stuff. So let's take a look. Okay, so the machine gun crew is... So this is the machine gun crew military miniature. As you can see, it's dark sprue, so it matches the outfit, so you don't have to be that generous with the color. And it's, again, really well made, really well molded. I hope you guys can see it very well, because, you know, even though it's on the plastic, you can see some cartography here, but you really can't see the full detail because this is a very small scale, of course. But the print is actually very well made. I mean, printed. It's not a bad print. It's pretty good. I mean, if this is probably like a vector image or something, if you would kind of see it on the computer, you'd probably be able to read stuff if you could like zoom in really close. But anyway, let's not get carried away with this. So we got some soldiers. Most of them are assembled. Here we have a little dog with the head missing, which is kind of gruesome. See, this I don't really understand this, because why would you just do the head? Why didn't you just, you know, leave the dog with the head? But I guess it's you know, you can turn the head or something, I don't know. But the rest of the guys are basically just, you know, arms and legs, like every single other sprue we've seen. And we got some hands here. Okay, so what's this one? Okay, we have some armaments. The Panzerfaust, and then we got the machine gun and the bullets for the machine gun. Cool, look at the Stielgranate. Knife. Cool. Oh, and there's a stove here, right? Oh yeah, look at that. You got a stove. Yeah, and the chimney. So, okay, so that's what you get inside the box. Next on the line are gonna be these two opposing front dudes with a 6-pounder anti-tank gun and the 3.7 centimeters anti-tank gun Pak 35-36. German versus Allies. So Germans versus actually British guys. So let's take a look at these two. So on the back you can see where you're supposed to put these guys if you want, where to place them, or you can just assemble the little anti-tank gun. So you got you got two sprues that contains dudes and the equipment. So actually, maybe you can see it or not, but they're different color sprues. This one, the dudes section is more like a very light green gray, and the equipment is basically just gray. So yeah, it's different, and it's really well detailed. I mean, really, you can see the rivets, you can feel the rivets, you can see this detailed like. So yeah, it's really believable. Look at that, and the rockets with fire. And then of course we have the dudes here. The dudes are a little bit, I think they might be a little bit older. At least they look like that from what I can see here. Maybe this is an older mold, because the plastic is a little bit different, and it feels like it looks like it's older. There's not that much detail, and there's a little bit of flash around the edges. So yeah, this might be an older and newer sprue packed into one bag. So here we have the British Army 6-pounder. So again, an older kit. By the way, there is practically no decals on many of the kits. Some of them that do have them, it's like a very tiny decal sheet of paper that just has the insignias. But for the most part, they do not have any decals, so that's why, you know. And the instruction sheets are usually just black and white, so I don't show them because basically it's not a lot of stuff to see. I mean, I can give you like here for this particular one, you can see them in action like a photograph. So you see some details. I mean, it's cool that you get this because you can kind of see how it looked. Although it's a black and white photo, it doesn't really help you to narrow down the paint scheme that much, but the general instructions are pretty straightforward, really. I mean, it's not like very complicated. And you get some history with this. Some of the kits have more than that, but it's really not worthwhile showing, in my opinion. Anyway, so here is the British camp with the British dudes, binoculars, you know. You got the stands. I think these are the stands where you plop the guys on, so they are fixed. And this, again, I think this is an older one. It just feels a little older. I mean, it's not a bad kit by any means, but it just feels a little older. The technology that was used to reproduce this was still in its refined stage. So you got some shells, you got some guns. Yeah, overall it's cool. Alright, so diversity. Here we have what I consider diversity. So we got the French and two British guys, and this is actually the World War I, see? So if you're into World War I, you can buy this kit from Tamiya. I think this might be a relatively new one, judging by the prices. I mean, you can see the prices on all the boxes. These two are relatively new, and this one is not. But let's take a look at them now, shall we? So these are the World War I dudes, British soldiers. that are, you know, lying on the ground using their machine guns. And the plastic is really good. It's very shiny, to be honest. Even I don't think you can see this, but I can see it from my naked eyes. It's a really shiny plastic, and the detail is really crazy. It's really crazy detail. And I got another piece of sprue which has some helmets and some machine guns and arsenal and such. Look at that. It's really crazy. The detail is really good. This is definitely a newer kit, newer technology. And look at that. Even the bayonet fixed here on the gun is really accurate. The French guys, huh? Let us take a look. All right, the French dudes, look at that. Yeah, it's still really well, just like all the rest. You won't be disappointed if you buy this one. Even this guy who is laying on the floor, you can see how the jacket is pressed down. It's not just, you know, even this guy who's laying on the floor, you can see that there's creases and there's, you know, it's not just a flat surface, because, you know, the guys will be on the floor. You won't be able to see this, but they actually made the effort to replicate properly every single piece. Now, it doesn't say that this is a this is a World War II. I don't think this is, yeah, this is World War II. This is not World War One. The uniform, I don't really have great knowledge on the I don't really have a great knowledge on the uniforms from that period. French uniforms from World War II and World War I are very similar, just like British ones with the helmets. So I get confused sometimes. But then, of course, you get another sprue which has the arsenal and the helmets. You know, stylish helmets and the little hats. And again, with the guns here, you see they are pretty accurately reproduced in this very small scale, and they do not disappoint whatsoever. So that is just amazing. So these are the last three boxes that we have. We have some more Germans, and we got some Japanese. Yes, diversity continues. There are some Japanese figures that we had in the store, but this is the only one left. This is the Japanese officer set. You see them all sitting around pondering as how to take over the islands in the Pacific. And we have some this is like police guys, military miniatures, field military police. And then we got the Luftwaffe early crew set. So again, Germans all around, and Japanese. The Axis powers. Let's take a look. Well, you know how I said that the decals are not present? Well, I guess the Japanese kind of have a lot of decals here. Look at that. You got some decals, the insignias. More or less. I mean, they're just very small decals. They'll probably go on the uniforms or on the table or something. But you got like 3 sprues. Main sprue, again, of shiny plastic, just like the one with the, what was it? The World War I, guys. New technology, you can see very clearly designed. Look at that, even the katana here. Oh, come on. The katana sword, very well. You can see the handle and the creases and the, yeah. Stuff. Look at that. There's no decals here. I don't think so. Ah, there's no decals. So yeah, that's it. Back to me. There we go, guys. That was the video. That was Tamiya's Little Man Part 2 for you. Cheesy. Anyway, this is the last video for this year for the channel. I would like to thank you so very much for joining me this year, liking and commenting. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below. But for now, I would like to wish you a very pleasant and joyous Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching if you haven't. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you next time, next year. Bye bye.